Welcome to Diaspora Live Show. My name is Pasil Telewa. So today we are privileged to host Dr. Lucy Mackenzie, all the way from the US. She'll be a guest today on the show. Welcome to the show, Dr.
Thank you so much, Pasil, for inviting me to the Diaspora Live Show.
Tell me, I know you're Kenyan, brought up in Kenya partially and the US.
Yes.
Which school did you go to?
I went to Nairobi Primary, and for secondary I went to Oshawa Girls, and then for my Form 5 and 6 I went to Jamhuri High School. But I have lived in the US longer than I have lived in Kenya.
When did you move to the US?
In 1988. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's close to 34 years?
Yes.
Tell me, what made you go to the US?
After finishing Form 5 and 6, I got a small job at British Airways.
Yeah.
And I knew for a fact that I wanted to go to university. At that time, we only had, I think, 3 local universities that were government and a few that were coming up as the private universities.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to go to college, and I did not want to do a secretarial course. I wanted to go and do computer science. Computers were beginning to be big in Kenya.
Yeah.
So it was something that I really wanted to do.
From the day you landed in the US?
Yes.
Yeah. Besides you working with British Airways?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me your experience.
Working with British Airways was such an eye-opener.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity to see people like myself being able to travel. And I enjoyed the customer service that we were providing. And I knew I wanted to fly out of Kenya. I flew out in January.
Yeah.
And you know, now the good thing with Google, you can Google and find out what's the weather like in Texas, or what's the weather like in Pennsylvania or Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, I did not do my homework. So I landed in the middle of winter in Slippery Rock. But my airport was Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It was 3 hours away from my college. When I arrived, I was in my little nice cute sweater and some little white cute shoes.
Yeah.
And when the driver came to pick me up, he looked at me and said, "Did you not know where you were going?"
How are you dressed?
I was really not dressed appropriately for the weather. Yes.
So you started seeing a different world immediately you landed?
Right from the first day. It was cold.
Yeah.
And then you are in the middle of a place where there's not enough black people.
Oh, I see.
I went to a college that only had 30 to 40 black people in a school of over 8,000 students.
Wow.
So in the middle of nowhere.
Did you feel safe being the fewer, you know, the minority in that college?
When you're in Kenya, you don't feel as like a minority. You don't feel that even when you see white people, you don't feel like you're different. When you land there, that's when you realize how different you are.
How black you are.
How black you are, how much you have an accent.
Oh, yeah.
All these other differences become something that begins to become obvious. But when you're in Kenya, I mean, we have white people who live here and have lived in Kenya for a long time.
Yeah.
We don't see difference. I went to a school that had white kids, that had Indian kids, but I didn't see them different, and I don't think they saw me different because we were in Kenya.
So tell me about your life now, getting to the US, you know, it's a new environment. How did it start? Where did you start? How was it?
In terms of school, you find out that students bring their breakfast to class. Okay, in Kenya, we don't do that. If you want to answer a question, you lift your hand up, and when you're told it's your turn, you respond. There, students just speak out. They bring breakfast to class. They come sometimes in their pajamas.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And so those are some of those culture shocks that you find that you will experience when you get to the US. And for me, because I have, you know, having been brought in this culture, when the instructor would say, like this, he would give an example, like this African girl who doesn't understand English. I couldn't tell him, really, in Kenya, we do speak English. Until it was time for him to give us an exam. And in class, you're sitting in an auditorium, he's handing out the papers, and he kept expecting that my paper would have been in the low marks.
Wow.
Until he got to mine, and he couldn't even pronounce my last name. And he's like, all this time you have understood when I say you don't understand English? And I said, yes. Why didn't you say anything? Because we don't say those, we don't speak back to our teachers. But now cultures are changing. Even students who are in school now, they are able to respond to their teachers. You know, I have seen students in Brookhaven. They speak back to their teachers, and it's not disrespectful, but they make themselves heard. Yeah, which is not how we grew up. Then I worked in the kitchen as an international student. We used to wash the plates and pans because they didn't want us serving in the front. So we've done very many odd jobs to get to where we are.
Talking about odd jobs, perhaps, I remember you telling me about a security job.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me what it entailed.
You know, we call it security jobs in the US and probably in the UK. But in Kenya, you call them watchmen and watchwomen. And so that's what we did. I remember when my mom came in 1992, she was very clear. You're making $7 an hour. There's got to be more that can be made. Yeah. But you can only make more if you have a career. Yeah. And with that career, you have to go to school to get what it is that will get you to that level where you are able to command those kind of dollars. And so we took that challenge very seriously because she said, once you're a security guard now, what is the next step from where you are to become a supervisor? So most of us wanted to really get to that supervisory level
so that you can earn
make a little bit more money, like $12, $14. She said, you know, when you get to that level, they will hire 2 people to make your salary. And it made a lot of sense. Yes.
How did you fit into the social scene?
It's interesting. You know, in Kenya, when you get to a certain age, when you're in your late 20s, you get reminded that you need to get married. Oh yeah. And you need to have children. But for us there, I think time seems sometimes to kind of stand still. It's moving, but you are more driven to doing whatever it is that you want to achieve.
To self.
Yes. And so for somebody like me, I can say I'm a late bloomer when it comes to getting married because I got married in my 40s. And life still goes on.
Do you regret being a late bloomer in marriage?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
So
you know, there were circumstances that led to that, but I don't regret it at all.
I'll be interested to know how you met your husband. You told me he's Jamaican.
He is.
Tell me about him more.
I ran from Kenya. Kenyans, we are marathoners, and they are short runners. So he ran all the way from Jamaica, and we met in Texas. But really, it was interesting how we met. My brother was living in Texas, so I moved to Texas to be with him and watch over him. Yeah. I know if he sees that, he'll be like, "You are really watching over me," but it's okay. So
I hope he watches this.
Yes. So his former teacher was. We went to her house for Christmas. Yeah. And my unknown husband to be also was invited to this. To this Christmas party. And he didn't know many of the people there. He knew the son from that house. And I was already there, but we were sitting watching football. And after saying hello to everybody, he went to the kitchen to help my mom to prepare lunch, because it was a luncheon. Yeah. And he helped set up everything. And then after we finished eating, he was there helping cleaning. And I'm thinking, dude, where did you fall from?
Yeah, from heaven, just for you. It's become history.
It has become history.
Tell me about family. You guys have kids or something?
Yes, we do have 4 children. We are a mixed family. That's another good thing about living in the diaspora. You know, this is not usually a big deal. So I have 1 son, and he had 3. So in total, we have 4 boys, and we have 4 grandbabies.
Wow. I understand you're the chair for You're the chair for Kenya North America
Yes.
Diaspora
SACCO.
SACCO.
Yes.
For how long have you been chair for that SACCO?
Since 2018, so 4 years.
This 4 years now.
Yes.
How has it been?
It has
Moving
been
forward?
an interesting journey.
Yeah.
So our SACCO was founded in 2016 in terms of when it was first just a random post on social media.
Yeah.
And then 8 of us got together and ran with a vision. And we collaborated and worked hard and got registered in 2016 November. We have over 1,800 members. And when they talk about the diaspora remittances, we are right there in the mix of this, because we've been able to mobilize close to 700 million in that 4 years. So, and you know, today they talk about the diaspora will have remitted by the end of this year $4.1 billion.
Wow.
And so we can see that those kind of organizations, SACCOs, are part of this story of the diaspora remittances.
What are those habits that are like so Kenyan? You're like, what's wrong with this guy? And oh no, they're just Kenyan. Yeah. What is it you would attribute to being a Kenyan?
Being Kenyan, you know, there's a lot of excuse of why we go to places late. We attend functions. I'm supposed to be there at 8. At 8 is when I'm leaving my house. And I'll show up and I will have zero apologies. The point is I'm already there, so don't complain, which is not something that is taken very well. However, that is a habit that we don't seem to get rid of even when we go over there. When you go to a Kenyan-led function, the likelihood of it starting late is very high. To the point now, cards have to be, you have to be invited. There's 2 sets of cards.
Yeah.
There's the cards for the Kenyans and the Africans. You will be told the function starts at 11.
Yeah.
Because we know you will actually show up at 2. But the real people who actually show up at 2 will get a card inviting them at 2 o'clock as the start time. So some of these things are an inconvenience.
Yeah.
But you know, the good thing is we are never late for work. Tabia zingine ni kama you've invited me to a party, and the party ends at a certain time, and because I don't really want to go home because I came late, I'll carry my alcohol in the back of my trunk, and we will have a party outside where the event has ended.
Outside of the venue.
Really, that is one of the habits that I've seen they're Kenyan, because even here, I've noticed that people still do those things. So I'm beginning to believe that is also another Kenyan habit. And we also love to help each other. That's another Kenyan habit. We are into this Harambee spirit. So if you have a problem, you know, we rally each other up. Even if I don't know you, my friend will tell me, hey, I'm going to somebody's house. This has happened. So you come, just give something small. So that is also very Kenyan. And it's a good thing because we are so far away from everybody else from home. We become our own nuclear family over there.
When you came back to the country after you left for 34 years?
Yes.
Tell me about your experience, the changes, you know, what is it that you left that is still there? What are the changes? How do you find the place so far?
Wow. If you left Kenya 20 years ago or during the President Moi's era and you have never come back to Kenya, I promise you, when you come back to Kenya, you will be in shock. A lot has changed. The infrastructure, the roads, the network of roads has really improved. Buildings, the type of buildings, they're getting better and better every day.